Hey chat, can you hear me? You can't see me yet, but can you hear me? And that's the real question. Can you hear me? YouTube, can you see me? YouTube. It's not easy being green, but can you see me? Or am I John Cena still? How was that? Okay. Less green than before. It's a bit behind. Well, I can't fix the lag. I don't know what's going on there. I'm alive. John Cena's here. You wouldn't know because you can't see him. Let's go. Yup. Looks good on YouTube. That's what I'm talking about. YouTube has always been laggy. I don't know anything about that. So, you don't see any lag. Well, welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome in. Everybody, I'm so glad to have you here tonight. Welcome in. Hit refresh, folks, if Prof isn't showing up for you. Thank you, Drumjod. Thank you. Fix for you. I do it all for you. Some people say third try is best try, but I say first try because we forget the first two anyway, and I have the power of deleting videos on YouTube, so no one will ever know the difference. So, if you're watching on YouTube in the future, watching me in the past timelines, just know this was the first try. I hope you're doing good. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. You didn't, but I'm just going to share. So I wanted to start a new thing tonight, everybody. I wanted to start a brand new thing tonight. Oh, Comcast. I got a story about that, everybody. Comcast sent out this big old email saying, guess what? We're going to ruin your life. And our plan is to do a full redo of your entire internet on your street on the day that you stream. And so that's what they've been doing all day. And I was really worried that I was not going to be able to stream. It was like, we know that this is an inconvenience to you. And I'm like, you don't even realize how much of an inconvenience. The people got to know. The people got to know about the ghee, and I'm the only one that can bring them the knowledge of the ghee. And they're like, we're sorry, sir, but you're going to have to hold off on your Netflix. And I'm like, no, it's education, and you are stifling. This is just like communism. You are limiting the flow of information. Communism cast. Oh my God, that's what they put the communism in Comcast. What? Oh my gosh. You heard it here, folks. It all adds up. Listen, I've had a 10-year battle with Comcast, and they've been good lately. I will say that. And today, they've been doing good, because they apparently fixed my internet, except for YouTube. I don't know what that was about. I don't know if Comcast created a green screen unless they were like, let's play with Prof a little bit. What's up? So anyway, that's my Comcast story, but we're up and running. But if there's any issues or glitches, then it is 100% on Comcast, or at least they're my scapegoat tonight. But we are not here to review the merits of internet service providers. Tonight, we are about video games, and we're about talking about the game of the year, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Game of the year in our hearts. More than a DLC, that's for sure. I want to start a new thing tonight, chat. And that is, for the first 10-15 minutes of every live stream, before we get into the game that we're going to play. Hey, thank you for the sub. Before we get into the game that we're going to play, I'd like to just go over some news. Maybe just like a little bit of a rant. Maybe I've got beef that I've got to like throw out there. But tonight, I want to kind of start that. And the reason that I want to start that is because it has come to my attention that sometimes people care what I think about things. I don't know why, but they do. And they ask me my opinion. So instead of going through all of my DMs and all of my tweets and bleats or whatever we say the blue sky is, or whatever else, I thought, what if I just do it once? What if I just do it once on stream at the first 10, 15 minutes? So if you hop in early and we don't have technical issues, on stream, I'll talk about a couple of different things. Tonight I'm going to talk about two things in particular. Number one, I'm going to talk about this Game of the Year debacle. The second thing I'm going to talk about is what I've been playing off stream lately. All right? Yeah, I think that's what we call them. The blue skeets. Skeet skeet? Yeah, I think that's what we call them. I'm going to roast Gina Talk for 2 hours now. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about this Game of the Year thing. Like, the internet's blown up over it, right? So yesterday, in case you don't know, I know that a lot of you, some of you that watch these VODs and stuff, you don't keep up with the gaming space. And honestly, you're a better person for it. You're happier. You're happier than all of us because we're out here fighting the fight. But those of you that are on the peripheral, God bless you. We love that. Let me catch you up. There is an awards show that happens every December. It's called the Game Awards. I want you to think of it as the Oscars for video games. Okay, think of it like the Academy Awards. That's how it fancies itself. And usually it's just wonderful. Now, obviously, front runner in our hearts, possible front runner in a lot of other areas as well. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came away with a whopping 7 nominations, a lucky 7, a Final Fantasy VII number of nominations, including Best Performance for our girl Aerith, Brianna White, amazing, and then Best Direction, Best Music, Best RPG, and I think there were a couple of others. It may have been Best Narrative, I think, and then ultimately, it is up for Game of the Year. I think I'm missing one in there. But Game of the Year. And, oh man, we're so excited, right? Because like it's like, I knew I loved this game. I'm glad that the world loves this game as well. I'm glad that it's getting a lot of things that it deserves. And there's some other great games out there. A card game called Balatro. There's Astrobot, of course. I think everybody really kind of saw that one coming. We've got Metaphor Refantasio, which is going to be my like holiday break, Christmas break game. I can't wait to play that one. And then there is Black Myth, Wukong. That one's in there. But the controversy comes in when you've got a DLC that was also thrown up and nominated for Game of the Year. And it is Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. Now, you know I like Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. We fought Baal together. We fought Baal, and we yelled with our NPC friend, "Curse you, Baal!" Who also should have gotten a nomination for Best Performance, that guy. But it's brought about an incredible volume of controversy. Because should a DLC where it's required to play the base game, and not just a little bit of the base game, like some of the harder content in the base game, should a game that requires you to play a previous game to access it be nominated for Game of the Year? We totally understand Best Ongoing Game. It could even be Best Music. But to be the Game of the Year, this is what a lot of people are really, really frustrated and upset about. And I totally get it. I totally get it. Like, I get it. Totally get it. So I think it tells us a couple of things. And I'm going to be as generous as possible, charitable as possible here. Because there is a cynical side of things, right? There's a cynical side of things that's like, this is some cooking, all kinds of stuff that's like, you know, nefarious. But here's what I would say. To be charitable, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree is one of the best gaming experiences of 2024. And I don't think that anybody is really denying that. But I think that there's a secondary question of what did Shadow of the Erd Tree take? Like, what place did Shadow of the Erdtree take? Was it Stellar Blade? Maybe. Was it Warhammer? Maybe. Tekken? Possibly. But the fact that there wasn't really a clear front runner, I think that that's probably where the jury was. It's like, okay, well, Shadow of the Erdtree is far and away up on the level of some of these others. Now, the technicality of it is like, but is it a game? And when you think about the year of 2024, are we really dipping back 2 years or so to go back to Elden Ring in order to celebrate what 2024 is? So I think that it's going to be problematic. I don't think that Shadow of the Erdtree will win. In fact, because of all of this, I would be curious if Shadow of the Erdtree wins anything, because I think that it's put a little bit of a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and including like the jurors, I would imagine, just because of the controversy. So if Erdtree walks away with nothing, well, man, that's a brutal thing. Yeah, I don't think that Erdtree will win Game of the Year. I don't. But the nomination has caused quite a thing. So no, so Solid Snake, that's a good question. Is it just the Final Fantasy VII fans that are upset about Shadow of the Erdtree getting the nomination? No, it's not. It really does appear to be a lot of different groups. I was listening to a few different podcasts today, and it seems to be like even not non-Final Fantasy fans are like, this is kind of weird, and sort of thing. And usually it's fans of games that, fans of games that they feel should have gotten the nomination instead. So it really is everyone. Fans of other nominees. Yeah, the Silent Hill 2 crowd is particularly upset about this. Yeah. Yeah, and see, I think that Elden Ring would have been a shoo-in for ongoing game this year. I do. And I say that as a fan of Dawn Trail, right? Like, I think that it should have been... Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know. How does the voting work? Because I could see it possibly win if the JRPG vote gets split between Rebirth and Metaphor. Okay, so here's the thing. If I had to, put money on it, which I won't, I think we all learned our lesson after the Tyson Paul fight on Saturday night. Just kidding, I didn't put money on that, but God, can you imagine? If I had to put money on it, I would probably say Astrobot wins. Here's why I think that Astrobot probably wins. I think that it wins because Metaphor and Rebirth are going to be split vote. And I think that Astrobot also has something really compelling to say. Not from like a deep meaning in the game standpoint, but small development team, short development time, in a culture in gaming where there's this anti-crunch mentality, that game should be celebrated because it did something extraordinary with a smaller development team and cycle. So, Jeffrey, who won the Tyson Paul fight? Both of them. They both went home with a lot of money. Who lost? Us. We lost. Fortunately, I was playing Dragon Quest III HD 2D. Yeah, if Astrobot wins, it'll be huge spotlight on platformers. Now, the real question is, what's going to win RPG? Is it going to be Rebirth or ReFantazio? It's between those two, right? I mean, the others, yeah, they're great. But these two heavy hitters are in the RPG department. And then the narrative department as well. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think Rebirth is the juggernaut for music, though. It is the one to beat for music, and I think that it gets it. Yeah. Sub, I also think there are nitpicks with every other nominee. Yeah, FF7R has Bloat, ReFantazio's Anime, Erd Tree is DLC, Wukong middling reviews, and maybe some political stuff there too. Astrobot is very clear-cut and without controversy. That's true. That's true. That's true. Balatro doesn't have a lot of controversy other than the fact that it's a card game. A card game that I will never play, by the way. Like, that's just like I don't know all the ins and outs of Balatro. I also don't want to. Ignorance is bliss there. Like, I'm happy for the people that love that game. It looks really like a dopamine hit, watching the numbers go up and the cards being played and all that kind of stuff. It's just not my bag, you know? No, I love indie games. Come on. Oh, please, don't spread that. That's like me taking a side in the ship war. I love indie games. Ask Momiji Studios, Video Game Fables, 8-Bit Adventures. Listen to those guys. I've been hyping those two games. Yeah, I'm not into card games. I did my like college guy, frat guy poker phase, you know, where it was like me against the world playing poker with friends, and I did all that. I did online, what was it called? Not Jinko, Zynga poker on mobile, all that stuff. Justin, I think that's a great point. Metaphor may be a better game than Rebirth, but you like Rebirth more. That's me. I haven't played Metaphor yet, so I can't judge it. Like I said, it's going to be my Christmas thing. Yeah. Oh, Jeffrey, are we going to talk about this? Okay. So, final thing with Game of the Year. Here's what I'm happy about, right? Shadow of the Erd Tree, I don't think that it should win. I don't. It reminds me a little bit of, like, I mean, like, as good as the DLC is, I just don't think so. If it was a full game sequel, I'd be all about it, right? This is not a Tears of the Kingdom situation. Shadow of the Erd Tree is not as robust and mechanic changing as Tears of the Kingdom, which was my 2023 Game of the Year. Take that, Baldur's Gate 3. I'll fight that one to the death. Oh my gosh. Oof. I've rolled credits 3 times in Baldur's Gate 3, but it keeps going. Probably because it's just not my turn. I'm waiting on the turn for the credits. Anyway. Sorry, that's a whole other can of worms. I need a vent session for Baldur's Gate 3. But the good news about all of this is that Game of the Year is spotlighting RPGs. It's spotlighting a diversity of games. Balatro, for example. It's highlighting this amazing Chinese myth in Black Myth Wukong. I think that's awesome. And then the levity and enjoyment of Astrobot. In a year where there aren't premium, what I would call premium, first-party Nintendo titles, Astrobot is filling a void. And I love that we've got that. So, it's good stuff. Good stuff. That's what I'll say about Game of the Year. At the end of the day, I'm happy that Rebirth is walking away with 7 nominations, or heading into the awards with 7 nominations, and it's just really, really cool. So we're going to be grateful for that and really celebrate that, and also cheer on Brianna White and Hamaguchi and just like the whole team. Like I love that. It's so cool. So anyway, I'm not sour about it. It's just one of those things. I want to talk briefly before we get into the game, because it's come up a couple of times. Let's just talk about this Tyson Paul fight, okay? I was at my gym yesterday, and we talked about the controversy of this fight. And we all kind of pulled up some video footage, and we all watched the moment when we began to realize that this thing might be rigged, right? Now, there's this moment. I got to stand up for this. Okay, here we go. Oh, no. Here we go. Can we just stand up? Okay, come on up. Oh, there we go. Rise up. Rise up. Rise up. There we go. Okay, so there's this moment in the fight, chat. There's this moment in the fight when Tyson is like doing his whole thing and he's dodging, right? And Paul throws a punch. And Tyson dodges, does his classic duck and counter. And in this moment, he ducks, he counters, and he's about to land the knockout. This is what he used to do when he was in his prime, right? This duck shift punch, right? Did the whole thing. And then he like pulls the punch. And it's almost like, oh man, if he had landed that, Paul is on the ground. And so here's the conspiracy, everybody. Here's the conspiracy. You didn't come here for boxing. I don't come here for boxing. I don't even watch a lot of boxing. But Tyson got a $20 million check at the end of the day. And I just want to know what that contract was. I just want to know, right? Was it, you got to go 8 rounds and lose? And then Tyson was like, but I can't be knocked out. I can't be like, whatever. And if he broke any of those things, if he like landed that punch and knocked out Paul, does he lose that 20 mil? I mean, that's interesting, right? $20 million to not beat Jake Paul. That's what, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. That's what people are saying. I mean, you watch some of the old footage of Tyson, it's like, boom. It's like a knockout blow every time, man. It's good. Anyway, so that's the reference, everybody, if you weren't keeping up with the Tyson-Paul fight. I don't know. Like, it's such a great question, chat. Like, would you take $20 million and a blow to your ego? Would you take $20 million for a blow to your ego? Right? Like, I think it's such an interesting, like, personality question. I thought the video was about Final Fantasy VII. Yeah. You would think that it's going to be about Final Fantasy VII, but yeah. Paul bowed during part of the match, and while to outsiders it seemed an act of respect, to him and every martial artist friend of his, it was disgusting. Really? You can't hit somebody when they bow, so it bought Paul an extra 10 seconds of recovery. Additionally, bows out of respect. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Right now, I might against Jake Paul. No. Okay, that's the question. For $20 million, would you sacrifice your ego to Jake Paul? Not to anybody, to that guy. Boxers do have big egos, right? Like, if you're like naturally like a humble person, maybe you take it. I don't know. Protect yourself at all times. Nobody. See, I don't know. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know. I mean, for 20 mil, I mean, what am I saying? Yeah, I could do it. Shoot, I'd let him hit me straight on for 20 million. Right here on the cheek. Knock me out. Just bring doctors, medics. I'll take a hit for 20 mil. Do you know how far that would go in Alabama? It goes further where I am, not in California. I'd lie for my life, though. Well, probably got that NDA. Also, Paul has been able to knock out every opponent he's faced up until he faced Tyson, who's 58. Yeah, listen, it's just like I'm not saying 2,000 gil. They're real fan right there. I get that reference. That's good. I love it. Would you sacrifice your gaming prowess? Well, if you saw me against Guy Natak, I ain't sacrificing much. It'd be like if Max Dude faced me in Tekken, and for $20 million, like I beat him. Like he let me beat him, but no, could never tell anybody. It would be like that. That's what it feels like. Like me, some hack, okay? No. He would have to He would have to lose. He would have to lose for $20 million. And it's like, that's the level of Tyson losing to Paul, right? I think that's so funny. Oh, the Dragon Quest III quiz. Oh my gosh, the Dragon Quest III quiz. Okay, chat. So, everybody, we do have... we're going to play the Ginatak stuff tonight. We are absolutely going to play the Ginatak stuff tonight. But Amy, Cloud Angel, has reminded us of the Dragon Quest III quiz. And I got to give a huge shout out to Square Enix. Square Enix provided us with a channel copy of Dragon Quest III. So I can try it out, and as part of this, as I'm beginning to make some content for DQ3, I would love for everybody to take that DQ3 quiz and figure out what job are you. 20 mil is enough for you to bear some shame? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's not a lot that I would say, like, no. Oh, I did beat Ginatak last time. Hank, don't you worry. I got him. I should do the quiz myself. I think that's probably a pretty good idea, actually. So just because we're still just kind of vibing, and we're going to get to some serious stuff in a minute. I say serious stuff. We're going to have a ridiculous time in a minute. Have y'all been playing Dragon Quest III? Have y'all been playing it? I hope you have. Like, it's a great game. Great game. So let's bounce over here. Yeah, anyone that's you can use this link. It just worked for me. It doesn't tie into the... Let's see. Okay. Let me pull up the DQ quiz. I'll take it live on stream here at the beginning, and then we'll get into Gi. Land of the Gi for us, okay? Let's see here. Boom and boom and bump and bump, bump. Da 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 da. Oh, look, there it is. Look how super profesh I am right now. Oh my gosh, you guys. What if we backed it up behind something? Like back here. Or even here. Oopsies. Sorry. I'm going to make this so pretty for you. Nothing but the best for you, chat. Nothing but the best. Okay, so there we go. So this is the quiz, everybody. So Dragon Quest III came out last week. I've been having a great time with it. It's going to be like this is a game of the year for me. Not Rebirth, but it's so good. So I'll show you a little bit. In this game, you can be different job classes. And I'm curious what it says that I am. So we're going to begin by choosing a battle tactic. Oh, you're already done, sub? Choosing a battle tactic. Okay, let's see if you and I think the same. What do you think I would choose, and what would I actually choose? Okay? So you go ahead and say what you think I would choose, and I'm going to tell you what I choose. I'm not looking at your answers. What would Prof do? In battle, I feel like I'm probably a fight wisely kind of guy. That's what I think. No quarter. I do like that one too. It's not, So I'm a fight wisely kind of guy. I think that's obvious. Now, how would my friends describe me? Brave, fun, smart, loyal, ambitious. Well, we're all friends here. What would you say I am? Am I brave? Yes, obviously. Am I fun? I'm a riot, always. Am I smart? give or take. Loyal? I don't know. Ask the people of Baldur's Gate 3. Ambitious? What am I ambitious for? So, obviously, I am a paragon of all 5 of these. But which one is my best attribute, right? Because, I mean, I know, chat, you don't have to tell me. I've maxed out all of my stats. I'm the perfect specimen of a human being. I totally understand that. But what would you say is the best of these? Okay, let's see. Oh, y'all are being so nice, and I'm over here being so sarcastic. A pure paragon. I'm so humble, too. As it says in the Bible, Moses was the most humble man that ever lived. Second only to Wade. He was also the most humble man. Wade and Moses, the most humble men that ever lived. Ambitious it is. Okay, so how would my friends describe me? I would hope that my friends would describe me as, oh man. I hope that they would say that I'm ambitious, okay? Like, I want to be brave, and I want to be known as brave, but I think more than brave, I think that I'd like to be ambitious. Because I think sometimes my ambition does present as stupidity. So, I think that I'm ambitious. Because sometimes I'm brave about dumb things. Okay, anyway, I'll choose ambitious for myself. Choose a weapon. Okay, what do you see Prof using? Steel broadsword, lightning staff, dragon claws, flame tang, a flame tang boomerang. That sounds fun. Flame tang boomerang. That sounds like a rap or a country song. It sounds like flame tang boomerang. Dun, 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 dun. And a chain whip. Yeah. I never back down from an idea. I like that. I like that. Put that on some driftwood. Sell it at Hobby Lobby. Takes a certain amount of bravery to be ambitious. Yeah. What the difference between a JRPG and an MMORPG? MMORPG is online. JRPG doesn't have to be. So, technically a JRPG can be an MMO. So, good question. Chain whip. So, 3, 2, 1. I actually would choose the steel broadsword. I'm a sword guy. That's me. In every game. In fact, one of my critiques of Visions of Mana was my favorite weapon, or the most powerful weapon, was not the sword. And I looked silly not fighting with a sword. So, anyway, personally. Okay, what's your favorite color? Blue, red, yellow, green, pink. Blue, red, yellow, green, pink. What is my favorite color? Does anybody know? Blue, red, yellow, green, pink. There's 2 obvious answers, if you know me. Blue, red, yellow, green, pink. Yeah, Drumjot, I wanted a sword. I didn't want that giant lance thing. Okay, most of you are saying blue. I would have also accepted red because of the Crimson Tide, but I do prefer blue to red. I look better in blue than red. It's that skin tone and this red beard. So blue it is. What's the first thing you do when you visit a new town? Oh boy, now this is telling. When you visit a new town, what do we do, everybody? Talk to the locals to learn more about the area, rest and relax at the inn, stock up at the local shop, rummage through local homes for loot, seek divine assistance from the church. I'm new in town. Where's the church? I love it. I talk to every NPC. That is me. That is me. I will say this, chat. Like whenever I go to a new town, like I don't do this in my own town because I'm a little antisocial in my own town. But like when I'm in a new town, I like to like sit and just make conversation with like the people. Like, I just want to be like, so what's fun to do around here? I'll talk to my server or my waiter or whoever. It's like, I just try to get to know people. What's fun to do here? Let me tell you a story about that. One time I was in Savannah, Georgia. You love a prof story, don't you? Don't you love a prof story? One time I was in Savannah, Georgia, and I was new in town. And so, oh God, I gotta zoom in on this one. This is so good. This is so good. So I'm sitting at a restaurant, and it's St. Patrick's Day weekend, and I said, listen, I'm here for St. Patty's Day, kind of. Like, it was actually during spring break. And it's not a lecture. Gosh, don't call this a lecture. And I was like, so what's fun? They were like, well, you need to go over to such and such park. There's all of these cool art exhibits. And I was like, mission accepted. And so I went on this side quest, me and some buddies, and we went to this park, and it was like, hey, look at all these artists. They're here around the fountain. Let's hang out and look at all of the art. And so we look at the art. There's like a guy holding a snake on his hand. There's all kinds of people just playing frisbee in the park. And I'm like, this place is lively. They had dyed the fountain green for St. Patrick's Day. I go up to this one lady, and she's like, so here's all of the art that I have. And I was like, this is beautiful. Look at these weeping willows that you have here. She's like, that's my favorite. And she was like, here you go. Why don't you take one of these? And I was like, that's really fun. Love that. And then she said, hey, if you walk south about 10 blocks, later tonight, we're having Serpent Fest. And I said, what is Serpent Fest? And she said, oh, it's a festival of lights. It's a parade where we commemorate how St. Patrick drove out all the snakes from Ireland or whatever. And so it's like, I went, right? I was like, mission part 2, side quest accepted. So I went down there at night, and y'all, it was this parade of all of these snake lanterns. And people would parade them down the street, and they were lit up at night and glowing, and it was like a festival where they celebrated all of the snakes leaving town. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? So anyway, long story short, the reason that I say that is because I believe that I would talk to the locals to learn more about the area. Haven't we learned so much about me tonight? How do you most like to spend your free time? Okay, everybody. What do you think I like to do? Exploring new places, training at the gym, reading, going to parties, working on your side hustle. What do you think that I would do? Yeah, it's training at the gym, obviously. Working on the side hustle, I mean, that's this. I do spend a lot of time doing this, but I think I spend more time at the gym. So, there's that. It's the gym. Okay, next. What item would you most like to find when you open a chest? Gold, equipment, mini metal, seeds, a mimic? I mean, I don't have much use for shields and stuff, but if it was a Elgato microphone or something like that, that'd be fun. Equipment. But mostly, let's just find gold in chests. Right? I'm going to go with gold. Final answer. Let's hurry through this. How do you respond when given a set of instructions or orders without even looking? How do you think that I do with instructions and orders? Yeah. Ask questions, follow them, but ask questions. Oh, man. Yeah, Jedi, based on my latest video, I follow the instructions. Let me tell you, that is tricky for me. I was actually talking to Evan about this. I hate building things, and I also hate following instructions. I don't read the instructions most often. I have to have somebody else do that and paraphrase it for me just because I'm I can figure this out on my own. I'm wildly stubborn. So I rarely stick to given orders, and I kind of create my own path. That's more me. That may be surprising to you. So, choose a monster. Imp, Spiked Hair, Restless Armor, Slime, or Bag o' Laughs. I don't know. What's unicorns to butterflies? I choose a monster. I mean, what's the coolest? I would go with Restless Armor. Oh, so did the chat. Okay, I got you. I'm not an agent of chaos. That's my Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough. How would you least like to be described? Cowardly, lazy, stupid, selfish, boring. Oh, man. What do you think I would least like to be described as? Oh, y'all probably think much better of me than the truth is. My students call me boring all the time, and I don't particularly like that, but I also don't care what they think. I mean, I do. I love you guys. There's some inherent boredom when it comes to being a teacher. So, slime. I think YouTube's back. I think YouTube's behind. Oh yeah, they definitely call me boring, but only in the classes where I'm like having to be boring, right? So how would you least likely? I think cowardly. I would hate being called a coward. Yeah, I would hate to be called a coward. Okay, which location would I most like to visit? Okay. Treasure-filled Ibis. Cold and snowy Muir. Jipang to see the cherry blossom trees, the seaside port of Portoga, where the party is. Oh my gosh, what do you think, guys? Coward. Yeah, do not call me a coward. Them's fighting words. I'm going to have to go, well, not Mike Tyson anymore on you, but... Could I be called a coward for $20 million? Yeah. Yeah. It'd be 20 mil. $2,000. Okay, so what do you think here, chat? We've only got a few questions left. I think if you know me, it's really between two here. Chat, you know I hate deserts if you've followed me at all. Called a coward by Jake Paul. Oh man, that's a tough 20 mil. That's a tough 20 mil. Where the party is, the thing is, where I am, there the party will also be. So, taking that one out because I bring the party wherever I go. Yeah, if you know me, it's the ocean, right? You know, for me, it's that seaside. I love the beach. How do I handle conflict? Attack? No, I don't. In real life. Take time to reflect before approaching the situation. Yeah, I call that prayer, so I do that a lot. Mediate to find a compromise. Avoid the situation at all costs. Diffuse the tension with a joke. So the first thing I might do is diffuse the tension with a joke. But typically, I'm going to take time to reflect before approaching the situation. That's me. That's me. But if it's in the moment, I'm going to tell a joke to diffuse it, but then I'm going to come back to it. So handling conflict, this isn't how I handle it. This is how I diffuse it. So it's definitely taking time to reflect. Okay. The town you're visiting has a monster arena. Oh, gosh. What do I do? Compete in the tournament, watch from the stands, bet on the outcome, befriend the monsters, sleep at the inn instead. I mean, I'm not really into Pokemon battles. But if it's like man versus monster, what do you think? I mean, yeah, it is like a Spartan race. You're right, so I compete. Boom. Which do I prefer, daytime or nighttime? Daytime, all day long. Daytime, all day long. Okay. So what do you think I am, chat? What do you think I am? What do you think that I am? I'm day, right? But like, what class do you think that I am? Vocation. Warrior. Let's find out. Nope, I'm just a hero. I'm just the standard hero. Wow, look at me. That's me. I'm a hero. You are the hero, the leader of your party. The unique and versatile vocation is a great all-rounder, able to switch between attack and defense at a moment's notice. Naturally courageous, you're willing to face great danger for what is honorable and just. You are brave and resilient and will guide and protect your party to fight for what is right. Yes, I am a hero. I love that. What a great personality quiz. Wasn't that so fun? And you can take your own at dragonquest.squareenixgames.com. All right. It's time for Rebirth. We've done enough of this. That's a good quiz. That's pretty good. I like that. Give me a tunic. All right, everybody. Where we last left off, we finally freaking beat Ginatak, and then Red/Nanaki made amends with his dad. And now we are off to go find the secrets of the Gi. So this is a big section, and I'm going to ask you some questions about what you think about the Gi. So let's go ahead and do this. This isn't going to be like a wildly long section. That's why I've devoted some time to the Dragon Quest thing.
Can anyone explain to me why we're even taking this detour? Anyone? Because some of us are on a mission to secure the material we need to, you know, save our homeland.
How can you talk like that in a place like this? I'm scared out of my wits here.
I don't know. This Gi dude's too nice to freak me out.
He may act nice, but who knows what he's planning. Stay alert.
Stay alert! Yuffie never reads the room. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Can I swim in the live stream? No. No, I cannot. But look at that. She's a beaut, all right. All right, here's our friend.
All of the Gi lies beyond. Now let us begin our journey.
Not so fast. What's in it for us? Unless it's materia, you can count me out.
How strange you should mention materia. My people are also in search of it.
I love Yuffie so much. Farthers, yeah.
I'd have stayed longer if I could, but I'll be back soon. I promise. Maybe try swaying with the rocking of the boat?
I want to move less, not more.
Didn't seem to mind when you jumped aboard.
Only because he mentioned materia.
Be quiet. The planet is listening. And what's wrong with that? Anything that reaches the planet's ears, in due time, reaches those of the Cetra. Unfortunately, the Cetra are not a tolerant people.
Excuse me.
Such an
Am I
interesting.
intolerant too? I'm Cetra.
You are indeed one of them, by lineage alone. You know not of their history. That has been lost to time.
Their history?
Consider your ignorance a blessing. The Cetra's past is fraught with horror and sorrow.
So let's stop there for just a second. Well, I'll wait in just a
So
second.
there I am,
This is,
on the ground,
I can turn it up.
bleeding out, watching everything go dark. Thinking, this is it. This is how it ends. Only, it isn't. Suddenly, the wind picks up out of nowhere. It tugs at me so hard, it feels like it's tearing my soul right out of my body.
God.
Next thing I know, I'm back in the orphanage. But nobody can tell me who found me or how I got there. It's a miracle.
Sounds like what happened to me. Whole freaking army unloading on my position.
What a scene.
Every single bullet. But then, the wind starts blowing. 1 minute, I'm outnumbered.
Such a good part.
And the next, I'm alone.
None of it makes any sense. I somehow managed to beat the odds and wake up here, alone. Why in the hell did fate pick me?
Can't think that way.
Seriously.
Can't not think that way. Their luck runs out, but mine doesn't. I'm the only one who gets a pass. And now that it's just me, what am I supposed to do? You know?
Yeah, I get it.
Hey, come with me.
Sure, but why?
I'll explain on the way.
Chad, I want to talk about this for just a second. This is such a crazy part of the game, but I want to go back briefly to what we saw on the other side, right? With Aerith and Guy Natak and all of this. Guy begins to say some things to the party that is pretty shocking, and especially for us, whether you've been a fan of Final Fantasy VII since 1997 or like you're brand new. The Ancients, the Cetra, they're usually pretty positive, right? We're usually pretty positive on that sort of thing. But here we get this other side, where Guy Natak begins to say they tried to exterminate us. There's a dark history of the Cetra that has been lost to history. And this part really reminds me so much of kind of the idea that the victors are able to write history, you know? And like, who holds the stories that we tell but those that have won enough to write it? Now, I don't know what Guy Natak is really getting at in its entirety. We'll talk more about that in chapter 13 in the Temple of the Ancients. But I love this sort of messing with our minds as to what's right and what's good and what's not. One of the things that I ask my students in class is this. How do you determine the merit and the value of what someone is saying? How do you pour through and pick through dogma to really find the data of something? I think it's such a really interesting concept for students to grapple with, because today, more than any other time in history, you and I are inundated with perspectives and opinions and data at an alarming rate. Okay, we have one fact that hits us, and then another counterfact will hit us, and then there's another fact and a conspiracy theory and something that may sound right, or an opinion, and we just have all of these things. And so what becomes important is, how do we determine what we listen to? Who are our conversation partners to help us expand our mind a little bit? And how do we determine the validity of the things that we're hearing. Education is not knowing the answers, but education instead is knowing where to go to find the answer and how to process the answers that you are finding. Let me say that again. Education is not knowing all the answers. It's knowing where to go to find the answers and having the ability to process what you're hearing. And so when we hear Gina talk, it should raise an eyebrow for us. It's like, okay, I've never heard this side of things. Like, the ancients, the Cetra, they have this positive story about them. They hold the promised land. They love the planet. They are protectors, guardians of the planet. But at what cost? And maybe this is a story that we need to listen for. I think it's really, really interesting. So, good stuff there. So then we come here, and we have this other story of Zack and Biggs. And these are also great kind of stories to listen to and to have, because we haven't really ever heard Zack or Biggs'
how's Cloud holding up?
things
Mako poisoning's done a real number.
like in the original game.
Doubt he's in for
They're
a
in 'em
speedy
so short.
recovery either. But hey, hope springs eternal.
Right. If he does recover, you can bet your ass he'll act like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Shrug it off and say he's been through 10 times that shit.
Are we talking about the same Cloud?
Come on. The guy's desperate to prove himself. Not like he needs to. Everyone knows he's a bona fide badass. Hey,
A
why don't
hero.
you try picking up some work as a merc? A Zack of all trades.
A Zack of all trades.
'Cause one's not enough.
I'll think about it.
I've said it before, Chad, but the older I get, the more I feel like I'm way more of a Zack than I am a Cloud. More of a Titus than a Cloud, too.
Get a load of this.
Okay, let's see. The destruction of Sector 7 was orchestrated by Shinra themselves. We can't let those murderers get away with it. People of Midgar, fight back against our corporate oppressors by joining Avalanche. Seek us out at the lot off Petal Lane. Wow, that's bold.
Yep.
Thanks, Barney.
These guys
Thanks
are
for the
setting a
follow.
trap for themselves. Shinra will just roll in and round them all up.
Doubt public security will even bother going through the motions. Easier just to shoot and skip the paperwork.
Then anyone who goes is...
An idiot, I know. But idiots are what we need right now. Folks who'll risk it all.
Wait, don't tell me you're going. The things I do for friends.
No wonder how that rift looks to all the folks topside.
Oh, is there an issue with the Discord link?
Hey,
I'll hit you
ever
with it.
wondered about your purpose in life? What you're doing here?
Sure, from time to time. Or all the time.
Would never have guessed.
Didn't used to, but things changed. Went through a lot after I joined Shinra, like... a lot.
I bet. I ask because ever since I woke up, I've been wondering about what to do with all this time I've been given. Shinra will figure something out, right?
So, chat, that is actually a good moment for us to have a conversation. At the end of the world, what would you be thinking of? This is such a great question that we get every time we come to Zack and Biggs. Because their conversations revolve around, and even the NPCs for that matter, they revolve around what are we supposed to do with the time that we have left, with the time that we've been given. And that seems to be the overarching theme in Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. All that matters is what we can do with the time that we have left, the time that we've been given. Aerith talks about it in her dream sequence in the Garden and Remake. She talks about it later on in the Temple of the Ancients here. But it's this question of what do we do with this time? I love that Biggs asks the big question. What's my purpose? I've been thinking about what I'm here for. I've been wondering why I've been spared. And the reason that I bring this up, Chad, is because every day of my life, I spend it with 18 to 22-year-olds. And I have yet to meet an 18 to 22-year-old that at some point in our time together hasn't asked this question. Like, what am I here for? And for the religious students, what was I made for? Is there a purpose? And I think that it's that question that begins to give us a catalyst for the rest of our lives. I've counseled students that were faced with some really big issues in life, diagnoses that were bigger than them, right? Students that have been going through some really tough times, and they always ask, is there a purpose to this? Or, I don't have as much time as I thought I did, so what do I do with it? When I was 30 years old, I remember that I got a phone call from one of my dearest friends, and he told me that he had just been given a diagnosis of being able, like he knew that he only had 6 months to live. And he said, can we meet? And can we talk? Now, this is a guy that I met when we were in second grade together. We sat next to each other, and we became friends. He's the one that invited me to my first church. He's the one that brought me into a friend group. We went to college together, and actually I performed his wedding ceremony. He's the reason why I went into religious studies. He's also the reason why I went into pastoral ministry for several years in chaplaincy. And so when he called me, he said, I just wanted to talk to you. And so I sat with him and his wife, and we knew that it was probably the last time that we would be together, right? And he said, I don't have a lot of questions about like what's beyond and all that kind of stuff. He said, the question I do have is, was it worth it? And I said, what do you mean? Was it worth it? And he said, like, I've lived for 30 years. Do you think anybody's ever going to remember me, that I existed? He said, I'm not worried about myself. I'm worried about my wife. I'm worried about my family and my friends. And he said, I just want to know that it meant something. Was there a purpose? And I said to him, David, like, everything that I am is because of who you are. Every opportunity that I've ever had, every endeavor that I've ever tried for, it's because you sat next to me in second grade, and that conversation changed the course of my life. And every student that I've ever taught, every person that I've ever counseled at the university and beyond, all of this is part of your legacy. He smiled, and he said, I just hope it wasn't for nothing. And that helps. He said, I hope that I'll be able to live on through you and through my wife and through these others. I think about that conversation all the time, because there's no moment of sensing your purpose like the moment that you realize that you're not going to live forever. What it taught me was I should start asking that question bigger. I should, and ask it in a way that doesn't wait for a diagnosis, right? We wait till the end of our lives to process our lives. But what if we began to ask that question early on? And this is what I do with my students. It's like, what do you think you can contribute to the world? What do you think the legacy for you is going to be? Whose legacy are you currently living? Sometimes when we are broken and beaten down by life, we're trying to pursue hope. But what I've found is that the antidote for suffering in a lot of cases is to find a reason and to find a way to be generous and to give to the world around you. That's what we seem to exist for. So anyway, every time I hear this story or this conversation between Zach and Biggs, these are the things I think about. So anyway, I don't know if you can relate to any of that, but this is why this story matters to me. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't expect to like get into that tonight, but just hearing Biggs talk about that moment, like it's a tough story, but like at the same time, like that's life, right? It doesn't always go the way that we want it to. It doesn't end up in the happy ending. Yeah. But it matters what we do and how we leverage
You
it.
said before I ought to try picking up some work as a merc.
Yeah?
'Cause one's not enough. So who's the one?
Cloud. He didn't tell you? Must not have wanted the competition.
When exactly did you meet Cloud?
The day before we hit Reactor 1. So, how long ago was that again? Weird. My internal
These
clock's
days,
busted.
Every time I
Yeah,
sleep,
mine
I
too.
dream about all the things
What's
I
that
wish
about
I'd done
anyway?
differently.
Good question.
So, what do you think's gonna happen to our baby?
Don't know.
I just wish. Wonderful children.
We've got freebies galore, folks. Come on, come on. Treat you and yours to something special.
You know,
Let's make it our best
Only
yet.
one per person.
Just to go back and
I think I prefer
Oh, wow,
being
Chad.
number 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Suits me much better.
Yeah.
Why don't we all
Like,
go
the
camping?
guy who only has to worry about the how. Doesn't have to decide on the what.
A minor role?
A minor role.
Exactly.
That's.
I'm no hero. So how come I was the one
He
who
should
got
take the
saved?
test, the
If
Dragon
someone
Quest
needs you,
test.
You and your can
Maybe he will be a hero.
And who might that be?
You were the guy with Aerith.
Whoever
right?
brought you back, I guess?
Things gonna
And
happen
assuming
with
there
us.
was someone, who could it have been?
That's a good question.
Hell with it. Let's just do what we want. Start back rocking, folks. Ain't stocking up on
The NPCs are a treasure trove. A treasure
It's
trove
just
of
up
things
ahead.
here.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Copy.
Because every time you go by one of these NPCs, you hear it just as we're walking through this town. They're all dealing with that moment of death. Of like, if my time here is temporary, what have I done with it? Or let's just spend it all. Let's live it up. Let's do all these things, right? And so in some ways, Square Enix has given us like this kind of lens to see our own selves, to see our own struggle with death and grief and all of that. It's just such a fascinating thing. Sometimes in the moment of suffering, we want to be heroes. Sometimes in the moment of suffering, we want to alleviate it with Costa del Sol type escapism or gold saucer. But ultimately, every one of us has to face that inevitability of this is life. The good, the bad, and the ugly. What is that phrase? Let me look up this phrase for us really quick. There's a phrase from an author that just like gets me. From Frederick Buechner, famous theologian. He said, "Here's the world. Beautiful and terrible things will happen. Don't be afraid." I love that because it's simple, but it's profound. This is the world. Beautiful and terrible things will happen, but don't be afraid. And I think that that is the struggle that we all have, because there can be terrible things in the world, and the instinct is to shelter ourselves and to hide away in fear. But there's beauty in that cycle of life and death and rebirth and hope and struggle and fight and resolve and all of these things coming together. Kate Bowler I'm so glad, Amy, that you know who Kate Bowler is. Author of one of my favorite books, Everything Happens for a Reason and Other Lies I've Loved. What a banger title, by the way. Great thing. So anyway, we could talk about this forever, but I hope that it's given you a moment, a lens to kind of think about your own life. It is a banger title. Yeah, let's talk about Kate Bowler for a second. My gosh, she wrote this book, and she had grown up in this. So currently, she has been let me start over. Kate Bowler was a professor at Duke Divinity School when she wrote this book, right? And she had always grown up in this tradition, religious tradition, that said everything happens for a reason. It was very prosperity, like, good times and rainbows and happy days with God. But then she faced a diagnosis. Again, it's always a diagnosis that gives us this sobering reminder. But she began to realize, thinking that whole thing of everything happens for a reason, she said, what is the reason for this? And she writes her kind of memoir and struggle with reconciling this thing. Like, what I believed in this prosperity sort of thing negated the idea that suffering could ever happen to me. And it gave her a sobering reminder of what life is. And ultimately, and I'm paraphrasing her sentiments, but I've taken coined a phrase from it. Everything may not happen for a reason. Everything may not happen for a reason. But for those that are religious, a strong religious theology would say that God brings a reason to everything, even if everything doesn't happen for a reason. God can bring a reason to everything. And I think that that's one of the things that I think about a lot in my own life. What's happened to us, what's happened in our world, there doesn't have to be a reason for it. But you can create meaning and reason for it and leverage it and wrestle it into something good. It's like my brother is a high school football coach and wrestling coach. And one strategy in wrestling, especially if you are going up against somebody that's bigger than you, some of you guys may understand this better than those that haven't ever been on a wrestling team or sports or something like that. But if you're going up against somebody bigger than you and stronger than you, you have to almost leverage and use their weight and their strength against them. And so it's not trying to fight against it, but it's trying to turn it against itself. And this is kind of the way it is with suffering. How can you leverage and turn suffering so that it becomes a benefit, a strength? It doesn't give a reason for it, but you've wrestled and leveraged a reason from it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Oh yeah. Heck of a book title. Everything Happens for a Reason and Other Lies I've Loved. Check that book out, you guys. I need to put it in the description here. It's so good, you guys. I love it. One of my favorite books. Okay, let's get on with this. We're talking a lot tonight.
Nobody, huh?
Not a soul.
Well, at least Shinra was a no-show too, right? Who's there? Huh. New recruit?
As if I'd ever join Avalanche. I just came to see what kind of morons would fall for your dumbass propaganda, that's all. But I should have known. Nobody could be that stupid. Anyway, I'm out, losers.
I told you I wasn't cut out for a leading role. And here I thought I might have been saved for a reason. Some higher purpose.
God, I just need to stop it right there. That phrase right there. So many of my students, I thought that I might have had a higher purpose, but when it all goes to crap and it all falls apart, the question is, what do I do now? And immediately there's questions of like everything I believed is a lie, everything I've hoped for is a lie, and those who are effective and successful moving forward are able to find new reason and new meaning in their life, and those that are kind of stuck, well, they kind of remain that way until they're able to overcome that. Just so good. Yeah. Anyway, let's go.
Sorry for wasting your time.
Good question, Big Reader. I'll address that in a sec. What's up, Wiley? How you doing, bud?
Biggs! It's up to us to find our own purpose. I mean, who says it's gotta be one way? Everyone's sitting back, acting like the world's doomed, but the future's not set in stone. We're not powerless. So long as we don't lose sight of what's important. You know, what matters most of all when the going gets tough. I don't know, hopes, dreams, maybe? Something like that. So long as we've got those. And hold on tight and never let go.
Like this?
Like your life depends on it.
The world's lucky to have you. It's a start. Anyway, I gotta run. I'll be sure to pay a visit to Cloud when I get the chance.
See ya. Think about what I said. Guess I should probably head home too. Home, huh?
I believe that's a kid from... Oh, thoughts on Kyrie's backpack? Oh, we can go to it. Yeah, I didn't really linger. Empty lot. Yeah, let's take a look. Oh, hello. Easy climbing. Easy climber. Kyrie forgot her backpack, which is filled with traveling supplies. Perhaps she hoped to join Avalanche after all. My thought is that she was ready. But when she saw people that, especially Biggs, when she saw people that were like, thank you for the sub, I think she kind of got cold feet and it was like, no, this is stupid. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. But like, what I love about Kyrie's story is that as goofy and as self-interested as she is, the backpack being here shows that she wanted to do something that mattered. But then she got cold feet and walked away. Like, even the most rambunctious and boneheaded among us, we want to have that kind of impact. But it's just taking that leap. I like that they added that dimension. They don't ever have to explore it. But she's not just a one-dimensional goofball character. She's somebody that wants to make a difference, but she's like Biggs. She feels like she's a side character, a side story. Yeah. Is the backpack the same as her grandmother's? That may be. That may be.
I'm back.
I hope so, Jedi.
Guess who I just saw? Biggs.
Really?
Yeah, I want some Kyrie lore.
Oh, yay!
Did he say anything about Daddy or Tifa?
Oh, sorry. Forgot to ask.
Aww.
Zach, would you mind checking on Aerith for me?
Sure.
Homer, that's
We're
an
all
interesting.
headed for the same place. You'll see your daddy and Tifa again.
Again, acceptance here.
Soon?
Soon enough, Marlene. Soon enough.
Yeah, Marlene will be a grown woman by the time this series completes. It's like I say about my students. I get older every year, but they stay the same age. Oh, man.
It's me.
We get older, but Marlene stays 4.
The wind. That was you, wasn't it? Hello in there.
Oh, we're going to have a good lecture in Chapter 14, you guys. There's things that I want to say now, but we're waiting until 14, baby. Gotta have a finale, right? For the lecture series. Okay, back to reality. Oop, there goes gravity.
We've arrived.
I love what you've done with the place, Ski. This is very mid-century modern. Subtext: the tone changes on a dime around here.
Still standing.
Yeah. The fact that Aerith feels something in that live stream. I mean, gosh, I just love that. Because it's a river, but at the same time, like, it's a sensing of physical memories. Ah, I love it.
Welcome to the village of the Gi.
So welcoming. Heavy metal meets house and garden. Oh my gosh. Okay, are we good on... our MP is horrible. Bone Village. Oh, this is kind of like the Bone Village, isn't it? What if this was the Bone Village? What if we're excavating the bones here? Oh my gosh, I've never thought about that. What if it did? That is so funny. What if I just go digging? Aerith needs some MP. Also, we need to give them some better materia. Do you think I can just do it with... let's go ahead and give them materia. I don't want to be terrible here. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Boom, boom. Boom. Boom, boom. Boom. And Aerith... We love materia management, don't we? Don't we love materia management in this chat? Oh, don't we? Okay, fire, fire, fire. Oh wait, we want her to have magic focus. Maybe not. Yeah, we do. And we need an MP absorption for her. She'll love that. Aerith would love that. If I know Aerith, she would love that. This place took me aback too. Kesha's new video drops tomorrow? What? Sub, how did you open the party materialist? Oh, you push that. Push this in the middle. When you're on this screen, push the middle where it says set for all. See at the bottom? So it's got to be on the materia and equipment, and you go into one character or this, and then you press, just push it, and then it's right there. So That's how you do it, bud. Yeah, it's what works for me. When I discovered that, game changer. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. We don't need an ice materia around here. Okay, let's give her a... Not a synergy. I don't think we need that. But maybe a magic focus. No, she already has one. Oh, he needs another fire. Fire. Why not swift cast for... no, let's give her swift cast. Yeah, now we're good. And let's also give her a healing. Let's give him a healing as well. Healing and magnify. Yeah, that's how I do drum. Like, it just... Yeah, farther, somebody mentioned that to me in a comment earlier today, that Ginatok's voice is the voiceover for the original teaser trailer for a remake. That's interesting. It's interesting to think about that. It's wild. Yeah, we need a revival. I don't need a limit siphon. Maybe a prayer. And we need the MP swap. Oh wait, I had to take that off because it wasn't working on us. There it is. And then for her, we need a little bit magic up, and we need... let's just give her time. And I think we're going to be good there. Now, let's give Magic Pot and Moogle Trio, since I've never used those before, because, you know, whatever. Okay, so, he says lines 2, my area has only gotten light rain. Oh, interesting. Yeah. I don't know what he's done, but... Alright. Story of the Geek.
Children of the planet. Y'all hear that just now? Our flesh is gone, yet our spirits are condemned to linger. Outsiders such as we are unwelcome, forever denied the planet's embrace.
I feel for you. Can only imagine how tough that's been.
My kin now dwell within these effigies. I beseech you, lend them your ears. Long has it been since they have had an audience.
Wow.
They're not bound to the planet, and so she rejects them. Because you have to come from the life stream to return to it.
Which means these dudes can't die, right? They're invincible!
I'm not sure that's something to celebrate. Being stuck as spirits with no hope of release sounds like a fate worse than death.
As if you know anything about dying. I mean, are you even really alive?
Another stuck spirit, perhaps?
Meow, 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 meow. Got something to say about that in a second.
You and me both.
So chat, that's an interesting thing that we just heard, right? Like, Yuffie asks him, are you even alive? Well, you may not realize this, but the person controlling Kate Sith is Reeve. I think that we've gotten enough hints from that, from the Shinra building. But the great Twitter and Blue Sky account, Shinra Archaeology Department, put out some Ultimania facts or something the other day where it was saying Reeve is a person that's imbued with some special powers where he's able to take inanimate objects and bring them to life. Like, that's insane. There's a word for it. I can't remember what the exact word is. Subtext, you may know what that is. But he's, like, I always thought of Kate Sith as a robot. And the big robot guy is, like the big robot Moogle is. But the little cat is apparently a stuffed animal that he physically brought to life. Yes, he's called an Inspire. How insane is that? Isn't that wild? It's bonkers. Yeah. It's wild. I just always thought that he was like controlling, but it makes sense why he's able to like keep working and stuff, because he's just kind of like brought his consciousness to life in this little thing. How nuts is that? How freaking nuts is that? Homerin, you've got some info. Shinra Electric Power Company discovered Mako energy the same year that Seto defeated the Gi on the chronology timeline. Could this evolve into the Gi or Spira people who arrived but were not born on the planet, like their descendants could join the planet but the space travelers could not? Like, are you talking about a Final Fantasy X crossover? That would be really interesting. Wow. He only occasionally directly taps in and controls, I believe. Yeah. So, a Kate Sith actually dies in the temple. Yes! Right? How nuts is that? It's like actually a living being. Now, he can do it again. But, like, that is a death. And a rebirth. Who determines what has a soul? Brother, that is... that's a later lecture. That may be a Final Fantasy X lecture series. It's just a homecoming, unceremoniously replaced. Yeah, isn't that nuts? I thought that was crazy. Chapter 15 lecture, isn't that the truth? All right, let's mosey. Isn't that crazy? I need to give that girl some better things. Oh, you're right. My bad. Sorry.
It's your turn. You're in good hands now.
Ah, thank you for the sub. Oh no, Aerith is unconscious. I was reading the chat. Blame Comcast. It really does kill, doesn't it? Oh my gosh, I am dying! I am dead! I blame you, chat. Did you hear the words? We shall not rest. Oh, I've got to give her all of the good stuff again. I forgot that I had traded out everything for these guys. The Gi are the bane of my existence here. We shall rise again. Right now we will. But we need protection against petrify. And we need protection. We need ribbon. With pins. Okay, where is speed or something? First strike material would be great on her. I'm gonna give her a prayer. Ooh, man, he's got nothing here. Has anybody ever used dark side materia? I feel like I have not used that very much at all. What am I doing here, you guys? I gotta do unique weapon abilities. Okay, there's that. Ooh, what do I like? What do I like? Maybe it's one of these that I like. Yeah. Let's give him a first strike. And let's give him limit. Wow. Oh, I know what I need. I need a fire, another fire, and let's do a magnify. Oh wait, no, I need to give that to Aerith. My bad. We'll hit him with a synergy. Okay, there we go. Gotta be prepared for these gi. They don't come to play. But neither do I this time. Alright, back to it. Let's go. Hey, good night, Excalibro. You popped in for like an intense moment of lecture where we were like sharing deep stories.
On you. It's your turn. I'm Kara. I'll take care of it. Stop it! You're in good hands now. Feel me proud. Take it over.
Ooh, no, you don't. No, Cloud! Oh, crap! Ooh!
My mission.
Okay. I'm done. I'm mad. We got this. See ya, Wily. That was insane. What? I was not expecting this. Okay, back at it. Let's do better.
So it's my turn?
Come on, go, go, go.
You're burning out one more.
Burn.
Get him. That's it.
Oh, we got him now. They've made me mad. That's right, I'm mad now. I'm a hound dog.
It was our fate to be spurned by the planet forevermore. Thus did we resolve to forge our own path. salvation.
Yeah.
With materia, you mean?
We long to lay hands on the materia of peace.
The materia of peace. Talking about that idea of suffering, Chad, I mean, the Gi have responded to the suffering, their own suffering, of how they can't return to the planet, meaning they don't have a hope of life beyond, or a rest. Man. What have they done? Well, they're biding their time in a lot of ways. Nurturing this resentment, this hatred even. Oh, it's on like Donkey Kong. Aerith, my nuclear option, Aerith.
There is but one thing that can deliver unto us ultimate salvation, and that is materia.
So an ultimate materia? Where is it? You gotta tell me!
In the materia of peace, we shall find the end.
The materia of peace. And what do you mean by peace, right? I mean, great question, different perspectives. Thought to be the ultimate destruction materia, but to them it's a release, it's peace. Great stuff.
Salvation is cessation.
Yes.
It is nothingness. Our wish is not to exist, but rather to no longer exist.
It's great.
Ultimate salvation is nothingness? Okay.
In the purest of materia, we place our hope and faith.
So man, that's a great point here. So in Buddhism, there is this idea of life, death, and rebirth, right? And this is the ongoing sort of cycle that everybody keeps going through, all living things, life, death, and rebirth. But the goal of Buddhism isn't, as some might believe, isn't to just elevate yourself to the higher existences, but it's actually to live beyond the cycle, to break through the cycle, to no longer be a part of it. That's one of the goals. Now, that moves into a space and a concept of nirvana, which is really interesting. But I think that it's cool here that they're talking about cessation is the goal. To not be a part of this purgatory or to join the live stream, but to cease altogether. Really interesting sort of stuff. Jedi, you asked a question up here. Let's see. Do I think Genova might be manipulating the Gi here since she wants the black materia? I think so. I think Genova's manipulating literally everyone and everything. That's my thinking, especially at the tail end of this lecture series. I think that she can manifest in front of them and offer confusion, but can't necessarily, like... I think she can manipulate them because they're like physical beings, but can't, like... You know, yeah. Anyway. May not be able to, like, be in their heads or whatever, but I don't know. I look forward to the explanations of the Gi in Part 3. And look at these statues here. Oh my gosh. This is a bone village, isn't it? People praying, pleading, offering.
Don't know about y'all, but I got a sinking feeling.
It's true, Sora.
Think we probably don't want to overstay our welcome.
Thank you, Chrono. You're right.
It's hard to feel at ease around folks whose only desire is death. And if the planet won't let them have it, well, who's to say they won't Let the planet have it.
Save me!
Sure.
Sure.
Don't you think someone responsible like me ought to hang on to that materia? So it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
I think we shouldn't get involved at all, Lassie.
Little late for that.
What do you think he wants us to do for him?
Steeped in our one's desire, purest of materia no more, with pain and spite made black. Steeped in our one desire, purest of materia no more, with pain and spite made black. Steeped in our one desire.
God, you guys.
Materia. With pain and spite made black. Steeped in our one desire, purest of materia no more, with pain and spite made black.
Whatever that materia is, we can't let them have it. No matter how much they want it. Don't know how far we can let this go, but for now we play along.
It sounded like there was a subtle motif of Tifa's theme there. I don't know if y'all heard that. Kinda cool.
I'll show you what I can do.
Began to wane until at last it was subsumed by
You're burning. You okay?
seas loyal, skies shattered and
Look at Aerith go, you guys.
survived the chaos and calamity. Those who did
Get fired up. Too much?
Yeah, get fired up. Oh my, Aerith is like a nuke.
not in life nor in death.
There's not like a ton to see here, but it is super interesting. Just love it.
Those not born of the life stream can never join its flow. One cannot return to that from which one did not arise. And so our souls sought refuge here. Yet idleness brought no solace. Our days, a penance imposed by the planet for the sin of our existence. And
Interesting.
now, our only wish is to be freed from this prison, to be granted true release.
True release. That earns them a grudge. Yeah.
From the planet, we claim the greatest of materia, a most sacred treasure, and imbued it with our desire for freedom. After an eternity, the materia began to stir, and thus did we rejoice, knowing that salvation was within our grasp. We rejoiced, so convinced were we that our prayers for release had not been in vain. Yet the loathsome Cetra trespassed upon our lands and stole the treasure that would grant us deliverance. Therefore, we ask that you retrieve it, the black materia, key to our oblivion. Please, it alone can liberate us from this endless dream. The key cannot rest until our sacred treasure has been restored to us. In redressing the crime of her ancestors, the Cetra may help us to let go our ancient grudge.
Where is it?
It is said the orb lies within a place of Cetra worship.
A place of Cetra worship? Or temple?
You know what?
I have an idea. At least, I think I do.
Forgive me, Hollow One.
Hollow
if
One.
I regard you with suspicion.
Now hold on there. I'm friend to one and all, thanks to my crystal ball. No matter your need, I have the right read.
He's strange, but you can trust him. Really.
Sub, yeah.
Alas, it appears we have been discovered. I trust you will return our materia to its rightful home. Only you can end our torment.
God, it's so good.
I guess we're back?
Yeah.
We need to get moving.
Right.
I'll make you proud, Dad. Just wait.
I like the bookend there of Red looking back to his dad after coming to realize the ones that killed his dad, right? He's got this conflict about the black materia for himself. I think it's interesting. I have some thoughts on the things that we just saw, chat. And some of them, you know, I don't know how everything will turn out with the Gi. I don't think anybody does, really. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they being manipulated by Genova? Are they deceived by Genova? I think there's probably a lot of that going on to some degree. But it makes me think of two specific things. The first thing is a way of framing the Cetra. In my studies on Buddhism lately, one of the things that I've come to realize is that one of the greatest quote unquote sins or acts of defiance or rebellion in Buddhism is the intentional delusion of another person. And so to alter someone else's consciousness, let's assume, one of the greatest sins in Buddhism is to intentionally alter someone else's perspective toward a delusion or a lie, right? And so if Buddhism is a way of clearing and unclouding your eyes so that you can see clearly, to intentionally deceive and cloud someone else's eyes is a grave and mortal transgression. So the protectors of the planet, the Cetra, and for Buddhists as well, their role is to help uncloud their eyes and to help other people have their eyes unclouded as well. For the Cetra, it's about protecting the planet. And what that means is, not only is there battle against Genova, but it's about anyone that might threaten to cloud that same sort of thing. And so the Gi are collateral damage because they have in some cases, in some ways, aligned with this cause that is against the planet. And they are not part of the planet. That's another thing. So from the Cetra's perspective, it may be destruction of the Gi. But it's also preservation of the planet. Does that make sense? Because they are colluders, representatives of that grand delusion of the planet. So I don't believe that the Cetra are intentionally and maliciously trying to eradicate the Gi or oppose the Gi. I think it's more out of preservation of the planet, and that has some collateral damage. Now, one person's necessity is another person's war crime. So there's that. Speaking of war crimes, let's talk about something that I'm predicting for part 3. And this is a theory that hasn't come up in any of our interviews, but it is something I've been thinking about a lot. We know that Jenova, through Glenn, is warmongering, trying to get Rufus to start all of these kind of worldwide wars, and feeding into that sort of thing to bring in war with Wutai, and to bring in kind of a worldwide conflict and promote sadness and despair, which is a precursor to that geostigma stuff that we see in Advent Children, that the basic elements of despair. I believe that not only will we begin to get this worldwide war between Wutai and Shinra, and everybody's kind of in conflict, but I think that we will also see this more broad war as well, that is between the planet and the forces of Jenova. So the Cetra and the planet, and the Whispers for that matter, and the forces of Jenova. And I would not be surprised if those that were aligning with Meteor, Sephiroth, Jenova were the Gi. And in an epic sort of worldwide war on multiple planes, we have the Gi joining in that battle. And so we've got the Whispers, the Cetra, fighting against the Sephiroth corrupted Whispers and the Gi in a climax. I think it would be amazing. Amazing. Also, somebody in a YouTube comment that I was reading earlier today on one of the vids, they said it would be interesting if in Sid's rocket exploration of space, we began to gain some context of the Gi. Like, do we find remnants of their former world or their civilization or something like that? That could be really cool. There's an interesting way to kind of explain the Gi outside of Gaia. That'd be cool. I'd be here for it. I would be here for it. So anyway, I think that would be awesome. Like to go into a worldwide war on multiple planes, not to mention Zack's side of things. Yeah. Is Jenova truly a foreign alien of total mimicry, a corrupted Omega, reverse side of Minerva, or corrupted person whose power grew out of control? I don't think we'll ever be meant to know. But if they expose Jenova, I think the only two things that would be effective to the audience would be something totally, some sort of terrible human tragic origin, or something totally foreign and terrifying to the point when we wished it was still a mimic. Interesting. That would be fascinating, yeah. Oh, man, Barrett, I think that Knights of the Round, I think it's going to be crazy to talk about that. Gi's insistence that the current world subsumed and ended theirs is an important detail, I think. Yeah. I think that that's a foreshadowing of some of the Omega stuff, but they're going to have to do some heavy lifting to explain that in part 3 and not just lean on Dirge of Cerberus. Do you think that the Cetra could have treated the Gi better if Jenova never terrorized the planet? Yeah. Yeah, I do. And I think that you see bits of that compassion in Cosmo Canyon, where they've built up these spaces to appease kind of the Gi. And you get that in the Proto-Relic quest a little bit. So, that's my thoughts. I don't know. Hey, listen, my guess is as good as anybody's. I don't know. So I do want to share a little bit of additional lore about this area before we leave. I don't think that he traveled with technology. Yeah, I think you're right.
Allow me to escort you to fellow Bugenhagen. Please, this way.
So before we head back, our classic research assistants have pulled together some facts from real-life theologies and mythologies that I would love to share with us tonight, just as a way of thinking about what we have experienced so far. So, as we've gone through this underworld of the Gi, the Cave of the Gi, we have to think in terms about underworlds and afterlives. So, I'm going to drop some facts on you. In ancient Semitic, Near Eastern cosmology, the underworld and death are integral to the structure of the universe. There has to be a place under the earth or across the ocean for the unbodied soul to continue to exist after earthly life. We've talked about life, death, and rebirth cycles several times on this stream or in this series. The concept of underworlds, often tied to physical places in our world, also exists in Japanese mythology with the concept of what we call otherworlds, or places where the spirits of the deceased continue to exist. Contrasted to the permanence of judgment and heaven or hell in a lot of, Western religions. Many ancient underworlds were seen as continuations of this life or places of continued learning. Examples include the Orphic idea of escaping the cycle of rebirth to an immortality with the gods or as a god, or in Japanese afterlives, spirits moving within other worlds in our world. So, in Rebirth, though, we see multiple depictions of possibilities after death and how people process all of this. With planetology, we see the idea of the life stream and a continued cycle, and we see Zack and Biggs in a state of confusion in a world similar to their own, striving for purpose, as we've discussed earlier. With the Gi, we also see the idea of trapped stagnation, and we see the effect that this has on the Gi and how grief changes them. Now, I talked about this a lot in my Eligor video essay, where I talked about the importance of the train graveyard, which is kind of a micro of this macro. What's happened in the train graveyard and what's happening with the Gi here, I believe, is very similar to what Sephiroth wants for all people. This kind of stagnation of the life stream that can somehow be channeled and manipulated for his own purposes, perhaps to mitigate suffering in his own way. So, how does this apply to our lives? Well, there's a lot of different varied beliefs about where we end up after we die. We talked about some of those earlier tonight. However, a common thread among them is that our current life is an important piece of the journey. Whether it be a cycle or a judgment, the things we do in our lives today matter. So, are we setting ourselves up to look back at life searching for purpose, or are we setting ourselves up to have resentments and grief? So, that's kind of one of the things that we've talked about several times tonight. Okay, so here's another concept. The Japanese underworld of Yomi. Among Japanese underworlds, one of the most interesting is this idea of Yomi. We've kind of talked about this a little bit in the past. But one of the things that I would love for us to kind of think about with this idea of Yomi is that it's not necessarily an afterlife underworld, but it's considered a literal underworld beneath our own. And so there's a lot of parallels, obviously, to this Cave of the Gi, and even beyond that, the village of the Gi. In Japanese myth, it is sealed behind a giant stone to prevent dark spirits from invading the land of the living. The entrance and boulders that seal it are located in Izumo, Japan, the spiritual center of Shintoism. Most of the spirits in Yomi are considered polluted, and having partaken of the food, they are thus unable to return to the natural realm. Now, this being considered a miserable state of being for a spirit in Japanese mythology, is being able to move between realms and continue progression is a key part of the deceased's existence. So, that Eligor chapter was boss. Oh. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. So obviously, I mean, the correlations to Rebirth between the Yomi and this idea of the underworld is pretty clear and obvious. I want to throw out one final fact to you. Kind of moving forward briefly, sorry. As Red and Barrett traverse the Gi cave, they're appeasing and communing with spirits of the Gi by restoring order to their sanctuary, or by outright fighting a lot of them. Now, after accomplishing these rituals, Gi Natak formally asked permission from Seto, with whom he seems to have communicated in this way before, to commune with the party and invite them further into Gi territory. So that's an interesting piece that you may have missed, that Gi Natak speaks to Seto as almost this kind of arrangement. I want to bring up this concept to you. Souls did resent their shadowy existence after death being interrupted. Therefore, the living who wished to contact them had to do so in very specific ways or for specific reasons, if at all. In Greek religions, this would include necromantia, or death oracles. That's temples or caves where people went to undergo a series of steps to commune with the dead. We talked about this last time, but I think it's really cool that we have this kind of delving in to talk to the souls of those who have passed, the Gi, who refused to pass, and then Seto himself, who seems to be like, hey, this is something that you should learn about. I think it's an interesting sort of parallel here, because if Seto is like, yeah, go hear from the Gi, Nanaki, to be a watcher of the wall, or the watcher of the veil, I want you to also be a watcher of the world. I think it's an interesting sort of thing to think about there. Japanese religion, the deceased are often worshipped and contacted within the home via home altars. Communing with the dead in this way is considered important because it's seen that we can help their existence, but they can also help and protect ours. And so you kind of get this a little bit with that conversation there. So once they are in the village of the Gi, it says that the party is to undergo the ritual of communing with the Gi effigies in order to learn what they want and how to help them. It's also stated in the local data that the Cetra built these altars to commune and appease the Gi. The interaction between realms of the living and the departed is potent through this section of Rebirth, showcasing how souls can affect the world we see in multiple ways. Seto's continued deterrence, the Gi creating the black materia, even Aerith feeling Zack through the life stream. There seems to be what we call, I call in one of my videos, a thin space, where there's this communion with those that have passed on. Whether we choose to believe in the direct influence of those in our lives that have moved on, we can still reflect on the influence they have in our lives. So whether it was advice from a departed family member or the memoirs or memories of a time that we spent together. These experiences help shape us into who we are, and often can be encouraging in times of struggle. Like we spoke about on last stream, there can be peace and strength in remembrance, and those departed can still guide and influence our lives. Kind of interesting stuff. Specters versus purgatory. I like that idea about Zack and Biggs, right? One thing that I like about this entire game is that it's playing with this idea of life and death and learning from the memories of the past as it informs the present, and may even run parallel to the present, right? That's kind of cool. All right, with that, let's finish up this chapter. And, yeah.
Actually think we're gonna give him back their materia.
They called it their salvation or whatever. But to me, it sounded more like something with the potential to wreak some serious havoc. Nope. No way in hell are we letting them have it.
Can't let him have it either.
Him?
Sephiroth. Duh.
Did no one else sense him?
No.
You're the resident expert. If you say Sephiroth was there, I'll believe you.
Wait. So, are you saying Sephiroth's after the black material?
Subtext, are you serious?
Better to assume he is.
Final Fantasy XIV's coming to mobile? Oh, good gosh. How does that even work?
Pizza, I gotta ask, how do you know about the Cetra Temple anyway?
Well, I wouldn't say I know about it exactly.
Do you have to buy it all over again?
What's that supposed
For the
to
phone?
mean?
I just
Excuse
recall
me.
some document or other discussing its existence.
That's insane.
If we can get to a Shinra terminal, I should be able to find it again.
Terminal, huh? Is there any up here?
I think so. I bet old Boogie will know for sure.
I mean, it might be good for just like grinding and crafting. I'm curious about the UI for it, yeah. Never, Jeffrey.
Thank heavens you're alive. I feared you might have returned to the planet.
Oh, come on. We both know you didn't need to worry about me. After all, I am the son of Seto the Watcher.
Forgive me, but if I recall correctly, Shinra should have set up a transmission terminal here in Cosmo Canyon, so where is it?
Oh. What did become of that thing? Ah, yes, now I remember. I was so fascinated by the technology it employed, I did some tinkering. Some tinkering, I say, though it was quite a lot. But now it serves a decidedly more practical purpose.
You've got to be kidding me! Well, do you know
Fast
about a
as he
Cetra
did.
Temple?
A temple, you say? If you mean a place where they worshipped gods, none exist. The Cetra never engaged in such practices.
I didn't know that.
Maybe it was referred to as such by someone ignorant of their culture. If instead it is a site of importance to the Cetra that you seek, texts do speak of one, and of the pains taken to conceal it.
So, it does exist?
Perhaps, though I know not where it is.
Huh?
And even should you find it, I would urge caution. They were a star-crossed people. To follow in their footsteps is to court tragedy. However, the rewards may yet outweigh the risks. You must bring every one of your senses to bear. For then no secret will elude you, however well hidden. And when you return home, I hope you'll share your discoveries
I
with
got
me.
something to say in a second, chat.
What is
Ooh.
it? I'm a little busy here.
Another man in a black robe has come. What should we do?
Well now, a friend of yours?
Where'd you see him?
Oh, the village gate.
We should check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, super interesting thing just happened there, and I want to make sure that we talk about it. Bugenhagen says a place of worship. Well, if you're talking about worshiping gods in the Cetra, then this was probably said by somebody that's pretty ignorant of their culture. And what happens immediately after that? Aerith says, I didn't know that. Now, she's a freaking Cetra. Don't lose sight of that. So it's like, if she didn't know that, it's kind of interesting. And I think that this is something that is, that I can kind of in some ways answer. So subtext, I'm talking about your question. What is your question exactly? To make sure that I get to exactly it, because I may not go in the direction that you're wanting. I want to make sure that I've got it here. Yeah. It's such an interesting thing, right? Oh, I didn't know that. So, here's kind of my explanation of that. I think that there is... Okay, I'm slightly confused by Bugenhagen's assessment of what Ginatak said. Ginatak presents himself as someone who intimately knew the Cetra, but Bugenhagen thinks that what he said was from someone ignorant of their culture. Is Ginatak incorrect? Is Bugenhagen? If Ginatak is incorrect, is it because it's a manipulation of some kind? We do see Sephiroth pop up during that scene a bunch. Okay, so here is what I would say. Bottom line, I think that Bugenhagen is mistaken about the Cetra, but not entirely. I think that because of his understanding of planetology and the respect he has for the planet, he is misinterpreting the relationship that the Cetra may have with the planet. This is my impression of it. Whereas Aerith is like, our connection with the planet, I mean, that's pretty, like, reverenced. And so the question is, were the Cetra devoted and faithful to a religion? And the answer would be no. But did they have a deep reverence for the planet? One that is more akin to a relationship with the divine? And that answer would be yes. I don't believe that the Cetra, quote-unquote, worshipped the planet in, like, the traditional sense. I think that the Cetra probably worship the planet in that they are able to commune with it. It's similar to the old adage that I've heard a lot of Christians say. It's not about a religion in God, it's about a relationship with God. So, it's kind of like, no, it's not exactly the same thing as, like, you know, we're trying to conform and, like, behave and all this kind of stuff. Instead, it's this relationship that we have with the divine, and that seems to be the case with Aerith and the planet and the Cetra. So what she would say is, like, yeah, it's very, like, religious and worshipful in some ways, but it's not like that. Yeah, faith is maybe something that you might think about in there, Josh. It's a Danawix, I like that. So I think it's a formality, but in Bugenhagen's framework, religiosity and worship may be too far of a leap for him. And remember, he's got it all figured out. That he even says, like, I'm an old man, I'm kind of struggling with, you know, changing my ways. So, like, in his framework, the Cetra were these ancients with the secret knowledge of the planet. But Aerith is like, it's more than just the knowledge. Yeah, we've got that, but we commune with the planet. It's kind of this idea between data and the practice, right? It's the practice of a faith rather than the data of a faith. It's kind of like you can't get the impact through archaeology of a faith that's long forgotten. Instead, you have to experience it. You have to live it. Yeah, religion can be a relationship. Yeah, but it's very big sort of vocabulary where the meaning of words matters, and we don't use it in that same respect. But for her, it's like, oh, it's very religious. It's not just data, right? That's the way that I interpret it. Now, Ginatak may also have this impression of, like, oh yeah, they just worship the planet. Oh, the planet. Oh, the planet's got a plan for you. The planet's got a live stream for you, but not for us. And that's kind of the way that it is for those on the outside. It's like, well, yeah, of course you worship the planet. We don't worship the planet because the planet rejected us, right? So maybe a chip on Ginatak's shoulders as well. It's like when I talk to over-eager students in class sometimes. She does seem to know of prayer, right? She outright mentions, my mother didn't teach me how to pray. Yes! Subtext. Yes. And there is an altar. Like, these are very ritualistic sort of things. And we will deep dive into the religion of the Cetra in Chapter 13. So get excited about that day. What planet did the Gi come from? Yeah, who knows? Renaissance, that's a part 3 thing. I think you're going to love Temple of the Ancients with me. Because the first time I streamed it was just reaction, but now I know stuff about it. So we're going to like go on an archaeological dig of the temple. Because it's rife with religious imagery and we got to go into it. So yeah, are they a worshipful people? Well, we'll find out together. I love the Temple of the Ancients. How long will the temple streams take? I don't know. Cosmo Canyon's taken 7, so. Let's finish up this stream tonight, and we are going to have to do a little bit more Cosmo Canyon on Thursday. Are you going to yeah, we're going off-world in part 3. Yes, sir, we are. Temple of the Ancients still blows my mind. Yeah, go, Cloud. Go. Can we just say we haven't taken one picture tonight? How amazing is that? That's like a chat record. A ProfNoctis record. Do, 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 do. Seriously, we have done so much talking about Cosmo Canyon. Temple of the Ancients probably will take a while. But watch it be like a one and done sort of thing. Look at this video game. It's so beautiful. It just makes me so happy.
Nanaki! Is this man okay?
It's my game of the year.
He is.
Game of my forever.
Not sure why though. I know Mako poisoning when I see it, and this isn't it.
Nibelheim, ain't that?
Where Tifa and I grew up.
Oh, of course. Nibelheim has a terminal. I'd bet my whiskers on it.
It, had a terminal.
Cloud, remember when you told Gian attack back there? That I might be weird, but you can trust me. Aye, well, even if you were lying, I'm gonna prove to you that you can trust me. That I'm on your side.
It's not that.
We should go.
Wait, you're talking about heading to Nibelheim from here? There's no roads you can take far as I know.
Maybe we can't go by land.
But
we can send up smoke.
We'll need smoke.
Right then, back to the airstrip we go.
Rightio, rightio. Alright, chat.
What happened?
So, my friends, that is where we are going to end the stream tonight. And the reason we're going to end it tonight is because we are going to talk about Bahamut Arisen on Thursday. And then we're going to go into Odin on Thursday as well. So we're going to cross over into... No, let's just play the rest of that game tonight. No. What's up, Phil? How you doing, man? You came in right at the end. How are you? How are you? Everybody feel Hartshorn? Phil, how you doing, bro? It's so good to see you. Nah, my dude, your boy's got to work tomorrow. So I would love to finish the game tonight, but Thursday is going to be all about summons and starting Nibelheim, okay? 20-hour stream. I know you're living the dream. Phil, super congrats on the engagement. I know that we're going to be talking for our interview soon. Tomorrow, actually, I believe. Yeah. You've been living the absolute dream. Everybody, as we close out tonight, thanks for being in. It's been a super chill, super fun stream. Thank you for letting me share a little bit about my friend earlier and some of the life lessons that we have. That man did forge an engagement ring. It was amazing. And on Good Morning America, I can't wait to talk to you and Aaliyah. It's going to be so good. So here's the thing, everybody. Before we leave, just want to say thank you to everybody. We will be back on Thursday night at 7:30, where we will be continuing this journey, doing a little bit more mythology and religious lectures then with Bahamut Arisen and a little bit of Odin as well. Before we leave, though, if you have not seen this week's interview with Tyler Hepner, it's really great. It's refreshing. It's a new kind of interview topic because he's the first artist that we've had. So make sure that you listen to that one. Also, on Monday or yesterday, I did put out a mid-semester review video. So it's just got some of the wildest and most interesting things that have kind of come out from the lecture series. So go and watch that, and remember that it is sponsored by DXRacer as well, whose chair I am currently sitting in. And so I would be remiss if I didn't at least show it off a little bit. So let's look at this chair real quick. I can give you a quick sort of thing. You can purchase this for yourself, but when you go to checkout, put in ProfNoctis as your promo code and you'll get a discount on it. So yeah, let me show it off. So look at this bad boy right here. Let me bring down the thing here. Oop, wrong way. So this is the DXRacer chair, everybody. I think it is so cool looking. Let me pull this cord out of the way. Yeah, look at this guy. So you've got all of the symbols here. You've got Cloud's Buster Sword, you've got Barrett's arm cannon, you've got Tifa's gloves, you've got Aerith's staff, you've got Red's claw marks here, Yuffie's shuriken, you've got Kate Sith's megaphone, and you've got Sephiroth's Masamune. How cool is that? It's the Final Fantasy VII chair from DXRacer. It's really, really cool. So DXRacer was like, hey, love your stuff, would love to help sponsor you. Now, it comes with this super cool pillow right here for your neck, and it's super comfy. On the back, I gotta show you this because it's so cool. On the back of the chair, you have the Buster Sword. Look at that guy right there. I'd love to show you the whole thing without just breaking everything. I'll try to lift it because if I go any lower, yeah, how cool is this? So you've got the full Buster Sword, and then at the bottom, you can't really see it, it says Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in red. Just awesome all the way around. So then, one final thing to show off. There is a back lumbar pillow, and it looks like this. It looks like Cloud's belt, right? How cool is this? How cool is this, right? So, this is a really neat cushion, and it's super comfy as well. So as you know, like, I had a chair. I have a chair, so I'm just like collecting chairs over here. But this is becoming like my favorite one of all because it's super comfortable. Make sure you get the extra large, okay? Not the large size, but the extra large size. And it's got some rocking. The alpha pillow is goated, I'm not gonna lie, but this one goes well with this aesthetic. So anyway, if you are interested in this, make sure you check out my video. Can somebody in the chat put in, one of my mods, can you put in the link to the video, the mid-semester review? In there, you get to watch me put together the chair, okay? And yes, Jeffrey's right. There are feet pics. I didn't realize that, but somebody did tell me, like, oh, ProfNoctis feet. And I was like, you weirdos. No, that's not going to work, you guys. Is that for real? Did you just do something? I know, I didn't mean to. It's so crazy. So, no, it's not working. Yeah. Yeah, that I had to follow the instructions for that stream though, or for that video. So, yeah. But it's got some good stuff. Oh god, that went way too high. Let me bring the thing back down. Yeah, I've never set up that command. So, yeah. Anyway, that is what it is. I also show my Christmas tree, and I get to open the chair underneath the Christmas tree. It's like a whole saga. And chat, let me tell you one other secret behind the scenes thing about that chair, or about that chair video. I created a little bar in the top right that's a limit break bar, and it slowly fills up every time I talk about the chair. And once it limit breaks, you get the promo code. I did that all by myself. It was so fun. It was such a fun thing. And also the music in it, all Queen's Blood. It was so good. And Chadley. So watch it. Even if you're not interested in the chair, go and watch that video because I had fun with it. I don't care if anybody else did, but I had so much fun with that. So anyway, one of my best moments, personally. I would put it up there with my Whispers video, to be honest. That's how good it is. Anyway, stay tuned for more fun things like that. We're having a great time. With that, why don't we go raid somebody? Rogue of Light TV? Who is Rogue of Light TV? I've never heard of this person before. That doesn't mean anything. I just do other things a lot, but... She was on the Final Fantasy TV draft? Oh, she was on before me. Okay. Well, we could raid her. Rogue of Light TV. She commented on my mug during the feud. But I couldn't read the chat, remember? I couldn't read the chat. Okay, let's go raid Rogue of Light TV then, okay? Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. Y'all have been amazing, as always. Love you guys. Have a fantastic Tuesday, and we will see you on Thursday with Bahamut Arisen, okay? Goodbye, you guys. Stay classy. Walk tall, my friends. Let's mosey.